All right, welcome to episode 1 of season 3 of Garrett's Football Show. Of course, I am your host, Garrett Sims, and this is the beginning of my first consistent show going into my third season. This is an exciting time for me. All right, so let's do quick intros. Garrett's Football Show is going to be at the very least noon every Tuesday after the Monday Night Football game every week. We're going to do more streams than that. I'm going to do more than stream. I don't even know why I said weird. I'm going to do more streams than that. Hold on one second. Let me do something. All right. But at the very least, it's going to be every Tuesday at noon for the rest of the NFL season, going through the playoffs down to the week of the Super Bowl. That's number one. Number two, this season, I'm going to be focusing on the Colts and the Steelers a lot more. The first two seasons of Garrett's Football Show, season 2, even more. I don't feel like I was just consistent, period. But season 1, very consistent. But I was kind of trying to focus on the entire NFL, what was going on. For these Tuesday episodes, I'm going to mainly focus on not Packers, sorry, I'm thinking Packers, Colts. I'm going to mainly focus on the Colts, the Steelers, what's going on with those two teams. What am I thinking? Literally just giving the people and the fans of those teams another place to watch entertaining Colts Steelers analysis. Now, in the other streams that I'm going to do that I plan on doing just for fun and the timing of these and how I'm going to figure that out, those will be around the entire NFL. The Kirk Cousins having the final drive to beat the Eagles last night. Jalen Hurts' mistakes last night. Going over the injuries and the fantasy football and all that shit. That's going to also come this episode, pause, as well by the end. But that's what the show is going to be this season. So that's done. What else do I have to say before I start the show? I think that's it. But this is going to be as far as just... Hold on. Let me do one thing. I feel like this is going to be the best season of Garrett's Football Show. I really do. Yeah. So we're going to start off with the Colts absolutely fucking up this week. You guys see we have the box score on the screen right now, so we're going to get to that as soon as I get this pulled up. There. All right. So the Colts in game 2 were at the Packers Green Bay Lambeau Field and lost 10-16. Where do I want to start with this? Let's just look at the stats. We lost 10-16. Anthony Richardson, and let me see if you guys can see this. Let's just read the stats before we get to any analysis. All right. You guys see that? Yeah. Anthony Richardson, 17 for 34, 1 TD, 3 interceptions, 1 sack, 204 passing yards. Jonathan Taylor, 12 carries for 103 yards. His longest carry was 29 yards. All right. I like the phone ESPN so much better. You can't even see what I want to see like the average yards per carry was, but it's fine. Anthony Richardson, 4 carries for 37 yards, 21 long. I want to see what he had last week because that 37, everything looks sad with the Colts this week, but that 37 yards was quiet as fuck. Trey Sermon, 2 carries for 0 yards. All right, let's look at receiving. Alec Pierce, 5 reception, 56 yards, 1 TD, 7 targets. Jonathan Taylor, 2 receptions, 32 yards, 4 targets. Adonai Mitchell, 1 reception, 30 yards, 4 targets. Mo Alley-Cox, 1 reception, 22 yards, 1 target. Michael Pittman Jr., 3 receptions, 21 yards, 7 targets. And that's where we're going to go. We're not going to go any more down than that. And then let's look at the Packers. Malik Willis, 12 for 14, only threw the ball 14 times, 122 yards, 1 TD, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks. Josh Jacobs, 32 carries for 151 yards. It felt like he probably had about 200 yards, not going to lie. 34 long, pause. Malik Willis, 6 carries for 41 yards. That 41 yards felt way louder, way more important than Anthony Richardson's 37 yards. Longest carry, 19 yards. Jaden Reed, 2 carries for 37 yards. Marshawn Lloyd, 6 carries for 15 yards. So we have, 4 people over 15 yards and really approaching 20. Let me go back. I didn't mean to do that. So don't even need to get into how good the run game was. Romeo Doubs, 3 receptions, 3 targets, 62 yards. Don Tavian Hicks, 3 receptions, 26 yards, 4 targets. Tucker Kraft, 2 receptions, 2 targets. Jaden Reed, 2 receptions, 2 targets, 17 yards, 9 yards. Luke Musgrave, 1 target, 1 catch. Marshawn Lloyd, 1 target, 1 catch. You know, you see the difference in the receivers of the targets versus how much they catch and how the ball was spread by Malik Willis, a person that has had, a QB with 3 career starts and 17 appearances altogether. This is his stats versus Anthony Richardson, 17 for 34. Our receivers who did this. And if I sound like I'm mad at Anthony Richardson and our receivers, I'm sorry. I am. This is the fan and the emotional person coming out of me. I'm going to try this episode and this show and this season to always be emotional, but to always, of course, give them grace and try to think about more than just how they look on Sunday as just a common fan watching, right? So we're going to try to break this down. That, I feel like, was a peek at the game. So first, let's get into Malik Willis. He had an absolutely great game, but he didn't make a single mistake, and he played the exact game that I know that the Packers coach, I can't think of his name. Let's see. Matt LaFleur drew up from him. Perfect plan. That's exactly what he wanted to do. It was the run They set the run game up, right? Anybody that watched the game, he didn't throw it for the first time. I don't even think he threw. I think he threw it maybe once the first drive, barely the second drive. Like, they got the run game. You knew that they were going to come in. Everybody did, because Jordan Love is hurt. Everybody knew the Packers were going to come in and try to run the ball, and they absolutely were able to do it. I think Josh Jacobs had like 50 yards in like the first quarter or something crazy like that. That's why I said it felt like he should have had 200 yards. Like, I'm going to try to pull up my notes from when I had that. What is it, 17th? Let me look. Let's see. Let me keep going down. Fuck it. He had it for what felt like 50 yards in the first quarter. So they were able to get that open. And then Malik Willis, the first couple times he threw, it looked like he was nervous, but he was able to get so easily into the game because Josh Jacobs in the run game was demolishing us. We couldn't stop it no matter what we tried to do. And then it got to the point by the end of the game where Malik Willis was doing shit like he was Lamar Jackson. He was trying to juke us. He was throwing the ball in rhythm. He was driving down the field. I think, let me look at the play-by-play. Their first touchdown, I think, was a really great throw. Like, let me see where this happens. 7-3. And this is a touchdown throw, I think, to who? Malika's pass, short right to D. Hicks for 14 yards. By this point, hold on. Can you guys see that? Hold on. Let me look. Barely. I'll move it in a little bit. Let's see. All right. By this point, and this is what, their third drive? Second drive? Shit. I really feel like by this drive, he's kind of warmed up. This was a great touchdown pass. Really, I feel like this drive, and I feel like there's probably throwing plays in this, he was feeling a lot better and he looked a lot more smooth. But just the immediate way that they were able to do the run game, let me just see. Josh Jacobs up the middle for 33 yards, 1st and 10, 2nd 7, 1st and 10, 1st and 15, 1st and 20, 1st and 10. Josh Jacobs, left tackle. He runs for 34 yards out of 1st and 20, so they get him back for 1st and 15. Then they get him back from 120. Then he gets 1st and 10. This is the first drive. So right off the bat, it feels bad. I'm not going to even get into just analyzing this bad. The run game was terrible. Or the run defense was terrible, and from the immediate game, Josh Jacobs was able to absolutely demolish us, and that helped. I feel like Malik Willis, not even I feel like I know, Malik Willis just get into the game. And then as the game went on, our defense wasn't able to pressure him at all, and he made absolutely no mistake. It's the type of game that makes a nigga that's nervous, that has been in the league for 2-3 years and only started 3 times and again 17 appearances, make him feel confident and different about himself. And it gives, I feel like, him and the Packers as a team going into their next game a lot of confidence. And we looked trash. And we were terrible on third down. And we'll get to the run defense more. Now, let me get to a Packers quick take just about the team. Jordan Love is hurt. It looks like Jordan Love is going to be out for a couple of weeks. I feel like maybe he's already ruled out. I want to look at that. Hold on. Let me find that too. Is there let's see. Jordan Love is questionable. Let's look up a Jordan Love injury update because I want to look. How many games, and the question I'm asking myself is how many games are the Packers going to be with Malik Willis? How good can he contain or not contain, but maintain what he put in Lambeau Field? It was at home, but it was a great game. How long can he maintain that? But also the really good Packers roster, like how is that all going to mix and how long are they going to be without Jordan Love? I want to kind of get an idea of that before I say anything else. Let's see. Let me look at this. Jordan Love, let's see, he's the latest status of the Packers quarterback, Packers news. Page not found. I must have clicked on, sorry, there you go. All right, let's see. You guys can't see that. Let me get a little closer. All right, and then let me make myself a little bit bigger. Pause. On his typically longer Monday meetings, okay, all right. So it wasn't technically misleading when Fleur said he didn't have an update on his quarterback. It's a knee injury. I have no update right now. So they have an update. They don't have an update. If he's ready, he'll be ready. If he's not, then we'll proceed with Malik Willis. Love missed Sundays. Okay, Love did not need practice reps to play in the game. He didn't need practice reps to play in the game, so even if he doesn't practice, he could still play. He acknowledged Monday would be ideal for Love to be on the practice field this week if he plays at the Tennessee. With first of the Packers, we'll see how it plays out, but ideally in a perfect world, if he's going to play, you'd like to get him some reps in. Especially, I think it would be 2 weeks. That's a long time since he has left. The injury is a sprained medial collateral ligament in his left knee. The medial collateral ligament is a band of tissue that provides stability to the knee joint, according to the National Institutes of Health. There are 3 grades of severity in relation of how much opening there is in the knee joint. Let's see. Patients with grade 1 injuries typically can return to play with 10 to 14 days. Those with grade 2 injuries have a more variable timelines for return. Like, bro, I want to say variable. I know it's not that. I don't even know. Not consistent or having a fixed pattern. Liable to change. Shit. More variable timelines for return. Ugh. Willis started, okay, Packers depth chart at quarterback. We already know it's him. And this is their season schedule. So 10 to 14 days. It's been at least, so that he got hurt week 1. From that, that's 7 days. It'll be 14 days going, or about 13 to 14 days going into this Sunday. So he's probably not going to play. I think it's fair to say, because even if this would be the earliest he can come back. And let's look at the injury since they have it right here. It does look like it pops. I'm going to show that one more time and see if you niggas can see that. Yeah, it does look like it's popped. Yeah, so at least 2 weeks. So that's all we're going to talk about. So let's get to this week. Let's look at the next 2 weeks, even though that'll be 3 weeks. But he has Tennessee, or the Packers have Tennessee this weekend at noon, and they have Minnesota at home. So they're at Tennessee this weekend, and they're at Minnesota this weekend. Tennessee is 0-2. Will Levis consistently makes terrible mistakes, and I'm trying to get the I feel like there's probably an easy way to do it, but I'm trying to get the Titans page up too. Let me look at this. NFL. Where's NFL? All right. Let me get the Titans up. I want to see the full scoreboard. Okay, week 3. And then, the Titans are at home. They're 0-2. One of the people I say I'll trust the most right now, just with like one of my favorite commentators as far as analyzing, is Dan Orlovsky. And kind of something that I feel like I've noticed with the Titans as well. I feel like they have the potential to be a lot better than what they are right now, and they have been sucking lately. So the Titans, I think, as sucky as we think they are, I think they can be better. And they have the Packers. They lost 17-24 both times. That is interesting. Let me look at this a little bit. I'm getting lost in a little bit in this. I'm not going to keep doing it. Tony Pollard, 17 carries, 28-28. So they're running and throwing kind of equal. Will Levis, 4 carries for 38. He can throw it, 19 for 28, 192 yards, or he can run it. Receiving, Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, Tyler Boyd, Chig, Josh Wah, I'm not even going to pronounce that, DeAndre Hopkins, only 2 targets. All right, that's last week. I'm not going to look at week 1. And then who else do the Packers have? At Minnesota. Minnesota's been really good. We don't know about the Justin Jefferson injury that you can look into. But who's the guy that was on the Panthers with Baker Mayfield, and he has been getting his little second chance in the NFL. Minnesota's quarterback right now, Andy Dalton. I think, not Andy Dalton, I'm tweaking. Bear with me. Let's see. Minnesota. Do 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 do. And I'm just again trying to get an idea. Sam Darnold. I'm just trying to get an idea of what the Packers are going to be able to do for these next 2 weeks as I'm doing this little Packers quick take that's being longer than a quick take. But what are the Packers going to be able to do for the next weeks without Jordan Love, with the good receiving core that I think they have? We're going to look up their defense too, actually. The mid defense they have, and I feel like the great, excellent running back they have. Run defenses ranked through week 2, and I like Fox's the most. All right, let's start analyzing these games a little quicker, though. But Packers at Titans, I mean, if Malik Willis is going to put on the same game, it's not at home. It's not going to be that same thing. And depending on how the Titans defense is, if they have a better run defense, they may force Will Levis or Malik Willis to start throwing the ball quicker than what he was this Sunday. So those are all things that you can keep in mind. But that run is amazing. Josh Jacobs is amazing. Malik Willis, he didn't make any mistakes, and Matt LaFleur did plan something out for him. If they're able to still continue to capitalize on that, and if Will Levis is going to make one or two just bonehead, absolutely terrible mistake, there's no reason to think that they can't win. What's the spread on this, too, I think? I want to look at that as well. Packers versus Titans week 3 spread. I want to see the spread. Packers, I think, would have to be favorites. Wow, the Titans are -3. Early on, I would definitely take Packers +3 for sure. And that's interesting to think about. We're going to look into this more with betting. All right. So total defense, Titans are number 1. Texans, and let's see where the Packers are. Packers are 27th. Passing defense. Will Levis, who is making bonehead throws and an idiot. The most thing he needs right now is an easy passing defense. He's had the Bears, who are, and the Titans have the number 1 passing defense. So that's what Malik Willis is going to have to go through, compared to the Colts having the 8th passing defense. Okay, fair enough. But let's see. I was going on who has Will Levis had the first 2 weeks that he's going to have to pass on with the Packers this week. He's going to have the 28th ranked passing defense, and the Packers are going to have to go against the number 1 passing defense. They just went last week against what's ranked the number 8th. Malik Willis did what? He threw for, let's go back. He threw for 14? He threw 12 for 14 and 144 yards, I think. Let's look back. Against the number 8 passing defense. 12 for 14, 122 yards. And this is the 8th passing defense. Now he's going against the first. All right, you would expect some regression there. And what they're really going to need, the rushing defense in the Titans, they're going against. Okay, the Titans go down. They're the 10th ranked rushing defense. Last week they went against the 32nd, the last. It was probably, I think it was like the 24th or somewhere in that low 20s. Anyways, it was already ass before this game. We probably should be the worst because the game that Josh Jacobs had, 32 carries for 151 yards, sounds about right. So Packers next week are going against a way better defense, a quarterback that does make bonehead mistakes, in their defense, which they may want to lean on top of their run off, of course, on top of the run game. Sorry, the coffee's damn near having me zoned in. But on top of the run game, let me see. Let me look. They're going to want to focus on their defense and their run game. Packers have, this is rushing. And there's even more than that shit. But Packers have 21 ranked defense. Let's see. Damn. 26 ranked passing defense. 27th ranked total defense. I mean, I can see, all right, now I get why it's +3. We're looking at a little bit more at this. It's rushing defense, scoring defense. I mean, I don't think either one of these are really good scoring defense. Yeah, let me look. Titans. Where are the Packers? Packers are 17th. And where are the Titans? Chargers, Steelers, Vikings, Saints, Patriots. Buccaneers, Bears, Bills, Chargers, Texans, Raiders, Chiefs, Colts, Browns, Titans. Dang. I think the Packers might be. Yeah, the Packers have a better scoring defense than the Titans. Actually, okay. That's going to be a good game, and that's going to see how good Malik Willis is able to keep his calm, keep his cool, and carry this team. Now, I think the Packers have really good offensive weapons. They have a lot to choose from, and I think he's able to spread the ball and have a lot of options that are going to catch. We already looked at that. Pretty much all of the targets, 3 targets, 4 targets, 2 targets, 3 receptions, 3 receptions, 2 receptions. Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Tucker Kraft, Jalen Reed, Luke Musgrave, Marshawn Lloyd. Let's look at hold on, let me look at something. Let's look at the Packers depth chart because he used he didn't even use, I feel like, the best wide receivers that they had, and that just gives you an idea of all the things that the Packers are able to work with. Jalen Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. Like, come on now, bro. Romeo Doubs, Devontae Hicks, Tucker Kraft. Where are they in the fucking Tucker Kraft, the tight end, Dontavian Wicks, like what? Dontavian Wicks, Jalen Reed, Jaden Reed. I mean, I guess he's going to the 1 and 2, but I'm just shitty because I wanted Christian Watson to get more because I bet on him. I guess maybe it's probably the problem. But Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. I guess he threw to the main 2, the 1st and the 3rd. Fuck, I wish he had thrown to Christian Watson more. But they have good wide receivers. And he fucked with Tucker Kraft. Dang, he was throwing it to Luke Musgrave, I think, too. Let me see. Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft. Yeah, like, he was getting the ball around. And they have a lot of options. They were catching the ball. The Packers look good. It sucks that Jordan Love is hurt, but honestly, if he's able to continue to not make mistakes and their defense is able to continue to at least try to hold teams to under 20 points, I think they can come, so it's going to be 3 games, I think, altogether without Jordan Love, this game and the next 2 games. If they come out 2-1, that's great. I mean, even coming out 1-2 without Jordan Love with Malik Willis, I think is pretty good. The Packers are good. Now, if they end up being without Jordan Love for more than these next 2 weeks, we're going to get into a different story. But I was surprised at the Packers. I didn't think they were going to do us like that. And while the Colts did play really bad and in some ways gave them that game, they took it at Lambeau. Now, let's get back to the Colts. And we're going to get into the terrible run defense. Yeah, let's start with that with this. Let's watch this.
I was literally just sitting back enjoying my Gatorade. Felt amazing. This might be the shortest film that we watched all season, so I didn't have any complaints. I was literally just sitting back enjoying my Gatorade.
Jair Alexander on the Packers controlling the game on the ground. I was literally just sitting back enjoying my Gatorade. Felt amazing. This might be the shortest film that we watch all season. And there's another video that I want to show. Let's see. Bro. From Pat McAfee, Indianapolis native. I am going against McAfee right now. Yeah. 12 o'clock time, but fuck it. Let's watch this.
Did we not know they were going to run the ball?
Pat, please do not give me a copyright restriction on this video. Like, be real. Please don't.
Had to have known they were going to run the ball. Jordan Love was going to be out of that game. We knew that. I think anybody in the NFL knew that.
Yep.
Even though they were doing a gamesmanship like, he might play. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jordan Love might play. It was like, there's no way Jordan Love's playing with how that thing ended the week beforehand. Week 2, he's your guy. You're not going to want to do it. We had to have known that they were probably going to run the rock. And Malik Willis, he handed the ball off to Josh Jacobs. He ran wild. Reed ran wild. They were running end arounds, and it was like the Colts never seen those before. We had to be prepared for this. 194 yards, I think, rushing against us in the first quarter, which is like historic and record-breaking in this entire thing. Yeah. We had to have known that was going to happen, D-Buck.
I mean, absolutely. You got to back.
We had to have known that was going to happen, D-Buck. I mean, 94 yards, I think, ran the ball off to Josh Jacobs. He ran wild. Reed ran wild. They were running end arounds, and it was like the Colts never seen those before. We had to be prepared for this. 194 yards, I think, rushing against us in the first quarter, which is like historic and record-breaking in this entire thing. Yeah. We had to have known that was going to happen, D-Buck.
I mean, absolutely. You got a backup quarterback in there, 234, I believe, at halftime. Coming into the season, I thought the strength of our defense.
234 total rushing yards at halftime.
This would be our front, and we just got ran over. I mean, Zaire Franklin spoke after the game and said, you know, you can say whatever you want about scheme. It's more about attitude. And I watched the first half, and it was some business decisions being made by some
Week
players.
two, can't have that, obviously. DeForest Buckner gets hurt. He's our actual staple in there. But let's go to the other side now. The Green Bay Packers got to be incredibly pumped.
So it was just disheartening to see how fucking bad our run defense was. Let me play this video.
And say best win they've ever seen in their life as a Packers fan. Ty Schmidt?
Yeah, potentially, Super Bowls aside. But, Coach,
it probably was the best fucking win you've seen as a Packers fan, because just seeing how easy it was, like that first drive where they had them at like 1st and 15 or like 3rd and 15. What was it again? Like first, there's like something crazy like that. Let's go back to it. Field goal, 1st and 15, 1st and 20, and then he just gets a 1st and 10 off a 35-yard run. It's just so disheartening and unbelievable, and just all the other things that were happening, but just strictly from the run defense right now in that first half, it was just like there was nothing we could do to stop anything. If it was a 3rd down and 6 and they needed 3rd down, Josh Jacobs was getting and they needed 6 yards, Josh Jacobs was getting 6 yards. If it was a 1st down and 40 and they needed to get 20 yards for it to be a 2nd and 20 and another 20 yards for it to be a 1st down after the 2nd 20, he was doing that. It was nothing they can do. And I guess maybe him saying with there was no attitude, people making business decisions. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was just watching it. It was unbelievable to see. Very sad, very disheartening. Hurt my feelings. My jaw was open. Pause. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. With like a rookie quarterback in, not rookie, I'm sorry, but like with a backup quarterback in, that's not like a veteran rookie backup quarterback like Joe Flacco or something. Like it was insane. It was insane.
In a situation like that, and you had something like this, obviously the circumstances were a little bit different, but a couple years ago against Buffalo when the winds were swirling and it was like 60 miles an hour or something like that, but you guys basically ran it 50 times. Packers did that yesterday. I think they ended up having 54 rushes. How difficult is it to win a game like that in today's NFL when you know you kind of just have to stay the course, but it is a pass-happy league, and at a certain point there, you know that the other side knows, like, okay, they're just going to try to run it down our throats. How difficult is it to actually win a game like that?
It should be tough. It should be really tough. The Buffalo game you were talking about was a very low-scoring game, but it's a couple of weeks that the Colts have had a tough time stopping the run. They stay in the same front for the most part. They don't really make a lot.
And you had something like this. Obviously, the circumstances were a little bit different, but a couple years ago against Buffalo when the winds were swirling and it was like 60 miles an hour or something like that, but you guys basically ran it 50 times. Packers did that yesterday. I think they ended up having 54 rushes. How difficult is it to win a game like that in today's NFL when you know you kind of just have to stay the course, but it is a pass-happy league, and at a certain point there, you know that the other side knows, like, okay, they're just going to try to run it down our throats. How difficult is it to actually win a game like that?
It should be tough. It should be really tough. The Buffalo game you were talking about was a very low-scoring game, but it's a couple of weeks that the Colts have had a tough time stopping the run. They stay in the same front for the most part. They don't really make a lot of defensive adjustments. They kind of do what they do. Gus Bradley believes in execution and in doing the same thing over and over again. But I think in some respects that simplifies things a little bit for the offense. And so they just didn't do a good job at all in the running game, and I think everybody kind of knew that that's what the game was going to be. And Green Bay did an excellent job of controlling the game and running the ball when, like I said, everybody kind of knew that's what it was going to be.
Yeah, fuck that. That's the analysis. That's a good heavy level analysis that I like to see. But I'm going to say fuck that. Gus Bradley doing the same thing over again, not changing defensive strategies and everything. Yeah, we can't do that. That was disgusting. 32nd ranked in the run, 234 yards in the first half. And then he's saying it's easy. It should be hard to win a game when you know the team is going to run the entire time and you know that they don't have someone that can throw the ball. It should be hard to win that game, and as the defense, you know what they're going to do. But as the defense, if you're going to stay in the same, I guess, formations the same time and not switch it up or not show anything different, we can't do that shit. That's fucked up. So we got the Bears, a rookie quarterback, who's supposedly one of the best rookie quarterbacks in all time in history. But yeah, I guess, bro. I mean, he looked good sometimes. There was timing mess ups with DJ Moore and some of the receivers, but he did have some throws that look good, and he does look like he's looking to have a fucking trash ass defense to have a breakout game against. At least it's at home. Then we have the Steelers. You know what that defense is. And the Steelers are going to try to run the ball with Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, and hopefully Justin Fields if they continue to. So, yeah, they're going to have to fix that shit. If they're going to do the same defense for these next 12 weeks, for these next 15 weeks, it's going to be disgusting watching these games. All right, let's move on. I'm done with the defense. I don't need to say anything else. I mean, it was completely fucking ass. Bill Belichick, one of the best defensive minds of football history, is saying because they were doing the same thing every time. So we're going to leave that where we need to leave it. I have some takes from some, Garrett's football show, friends of the show. So bear with me a little bit while I find those. Let me see also if there's something that, let's see if there's something that I want to play that's longer while I try to look for something. I don't think I have anything. I could. If I play the highlights, I know I'm going to get flagged. If I play the highlights from the game, I know I'm going to get flagged. Let me see. Bear with me. All right. Okay, I'm just reading these notes so I can have an idea. Okay. All right. The Anthony Richardson journey, not the experiment. All right. Okay. So, I think everybody knew. I'm not saying anything that anyone didn't know. And this is what I was saying last year in Garrett's football show. We just didn't get the chance to see it because Anthony Richardson sadly got hurt. But this is going to be a journey. And it's not the Anthony Richardson experiment because I think he's going to be great. I think he is our franchise quarterback, and I think he's going to learn the things that he needs to learn. But it's going to be a journey because he is young. This is his first season, really, pretty much. He played about 4 games, got hurt in 3 of them. Everybody says he doesn't have a lot of football experience as a whole. Let me read this. Let me see. That was his 5th game. Our defense is ass, and he's the youngest quarterback in the league. Let me look at his age. Anthony Richardson age. He's 22 years old. Okay, 22 years old. 5th game. Not a lot of college experience, even in not a lot of football experience, even in college, right? Sunday, he looked bad. Let's go to the box score again. 17 for 34, 3 interceptions, some of them, just 2 of them, absolutely just terrible. Maybe you could argue all of them. He had a fumble, I believe. He in his decision-making sometimes was just not good. And basically, this is, and I'm going to read this text. This is from another friend of the show, a different one. But let's look at this. Quote for quote, the receivers have definitely struggled. Lots of unexpected drops that ruined a bunch of different drives. At the same time, I can't put too much blame on them. AR has to make better decisions. And he answered that question for me, kind of, which I'll get into in a second, wanting to have a conversation on how much is on the receivers dropping balls and fucking up versus, but it's both, of course, but how much of it, of course, is on Anthony Richardson and his decision-making skills. And the end of that text, the end of that advice that he gave me and asked, or not advice, of that analysis that he gave me, sorry I couldn't find the word, was that AR has to, oh shit, what's going on? Damn, the iPhone is crazy. What the fuck? It was like texting. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. That AR has to make better decisions. And he made a ton of bad decisions. And that's to be expected because he's only played 5 games. And I think the Colts fans, I don't even think we're going to be mad at it. It just sucks to see and it hurts your fucking heart. Because you see game 1 that fucking amazing ass pass. Everyone's saying it's probably the best throw that we'll see all year. The athleticism, the way he can be, his ceiling is amazing. That sometimes with the decision making, it can break your heart to watch. But the only way that you're going to learn that is with time and with reps, and we're just going to have to wait for that. And he will learn that because everybody sees he's hardworking. Everybody sees he's a leader. Everybody sees he has a great attitude. It's just on Sundays sometimes we're going to have to go back and forth between him playing good and playing bad. And another thing that I got was that he's going to be that someone made a prediction that he's going to be bad on the road all year. I could see that. I mean, I could see that. I think Anthony Richardson, we're going to see amazing games. We're going to see terrible games. We're going to see amazing moments, and we're going to see terrible moments. And this year, I think there was a lot of hype. It's from me and from people watching about what the Colts could do because of the ceiling of our quarterback and because of the fact that it seems like we have one of those Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes freaks that are just athletes that you can't teach or learn from. But we also have a quarterback that's really new and rough around the edges. And I think that's something to think about, and I think that's something to take into account. And I think we're going to have to just go on that journey with him as fans. It's just going to be sad to see sometimes. But I think what would help is if our run defense was a lot better. I think what would help is if our fucking receivers caught the balls that he did throw right and looked a lot better with the targets they got. But he does need to make better decisions. He does need to learn things, and he will with time. And the receiver talk, that is basically the receiver talk. I mean, it's just like, let me look at this. Hold on. INDIANL cold step. Let me look at this. Let's see. Our wide receiver 1, Michael Pittman Jr. Wide receiver 2, Josh Downs. Wide receiver 3, Alec Pierce. Then we have tight end, Kylan Granson. This does not feel like the 2024 depth chart. It doesn't feel right. Mo Alley Cox is our second string tight end. That doesn't even seem right. So let's look at this. Alec Pierce, 7 targets, 5 catches. He's catching the most out of everybody. Michael Pittman Jr., 3 targets for 3 yards. There was about 1 or 2 throws of those that weren't catches that were Anthony Richardson's fault. And then there was about 2 or 3 of those that were Michael Pittman where I'm like, I'm questioning why he didn't catch those. You know, I watched the receiver show. I know how hard it is. I know everything they have to do. And you know, on Garrett's football show, I don't like to just insult football players because I realize how much they do and the work that takes into it. But again, as a fan watching, it's like, what in the absolute fuck? Please catch these balls sometimes so you can help this fucking quarterback that's already kind of learning and maybe nervous get into some type of rhythm. When he throws a good ball, please catch it. But, you know, again, what do I know? Adonai Mitchell, 4 targets for 1. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor's getting 4 targets for 2 catches. 2 receptions. Adonai Mitchell, that's a second string. He's catching more than Alec, or it's a second string for, yeah, he's catching more than our wide receiver 1. I don't know. I guess I can read that text again just so it has a different context now that I'm talking about that. The receivers have definitely struggled. Lots of unexpected drops that ruined a bunch of different drives, exactly. At the same time, I can't put too much to blame on them. AR has to make better decisions. Okay, yeah, I'm putting blame on the receivers somewhat, you know, and I'm putting blame on the defense somewhat. I think this is to be expected from Anthony Richardson, and when he makes plays that are just drive starters and momentum builders, we have to be able to work with him and get those bitches started. Now let's get to the betting, my wallet, and with this game. I'm going to just read off I make bet notes, and this is the thing with betting, and let me look at this. All right. So first off, the running back this year. The running back period this year seems like it's going to be the wave. The quarterbacks are not throwing the same way I feel like you would think they are in this quarterback-driven league. So I bet on Josh Jacobs to get a touchdown. And what else? Let me just go back and look at my bets. I need to have my bets up and then look at these notes because I want to talk about this. Betting for me this year, I'm really serious about because I'm doing betting wrong, but I can do it right. And you guys are going to go on this journey with me to when I learn how to really trust my gut mix it with the analyzation, and start winning money off these fucking bets. Because this shit is crazy. This shit is fucking crazy. All right. So let's see what I bet. Josh Jacobs. Okay. And all of them. And see, that's what I knew would happen. First quarter rushing yards with the Jonathan Taylor over 80 rushing yards. And see, receptions. Okay. Even looking at this is giving me ideas. Okay. So the running back period this year seems like the new wave. So I bet on Josh Jacobs touchdown, and I felt like an idiot knowing this nigga would at least get was gonna at least get, I'd say, 80 yards because of how bad I knew that our rushing defense was. I did notes on it, and I knew our rushing defense was bad, but my thinking was because our rushing defense was so bad, for the Packers to get a touchdown, they were gonna go to Josh Jacobs to get that touchdown. It's idiotic of me to bet Jonathan Taylor's yards, even though I also was of the thinking of week 1 our receivers were kind of being weird, and it didn't look like Michael Pittman was getting a lot of target. See, even thinking about it, when you listen to this, my thinking with betting, I make the right analyzations and then put my money on the wrong shit, which is idiotic. There's a science to that I'm gonna figure out on those Sundays, just when I'm trying to bet. But I didn't bet on Josh Jacobs' yards specifically, which I should have did, because he obviously, we've talked about this all show, went off 151 yards. If I had him for like 100 yards, 125 yards, with the Jonathan Taylor 80 yards, I thought it just would have been so genius. And my notes were literally just the same way. Like the Colts knew he was going to rush. I knew he was going to rush. And I thought I'm mad at myself even talking about this. I thought if the Packers, if they were going to get touchdowns, because it was going to be a low-scoring game, they would have to get the Josh Jacobs touchdowns. But really, Malik Willis was just throwing the ball and getting touchdowns. So, okay. What I know and what I do, I'm not making the right fucking decisions, but okay. So, one bet, I had Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown scorer, and Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown scorer, in a parlay with a 50% profit boost for plus 399. I feel like that should have fucking happened. Josh Jacobs just didn't get the touchdown. He fumbled at the yard line. I just thought about that. Fumbled at the 1 yard line, so that's unlucky. Only good fucking thing that the Colts do on defense is that to ruin my fucking bet. And then Anthony or Jonathan Taylor doesn't get a touchdown, runs for 103 yards. So I basically did the opposite. I bet on this nigga to get his 80 yards, which he got, but I also didn't bet, and I bet on him to have the touchdown. I didn't bet on Josh Jacobs to get his yards, but he didn't get the touchdown. So, yeah, that's just my luck. All right, let's look at the next one. So, yeah, I'd be asking myself, what is in my friends' heads when they make some of these crazy bets? I'm reading directly from my notes right now, because my friends will sit in first-time touchdown scores, just weird-ass fucking specific-ass bets that it's like, I can make these bets. But the real question is, what is in your head when you're looking at FanDuel to directly put your money on that bet? Like, the research, it's like, there's so much mental that goes into betting where I feel like I'm getting excited and not just trusting my gut and what I know is going to happen in the notes and research that I'm actually doing. Okay. And again, both a lot of it, it's me not trusting my judgment. Read the notes I had and compare them to what I bet, and you realize I'm not really following my gut, but getting caught up in the motion of everything with betting. Betting is such an emotional, cool thing, but you can fuck yourself up, I guess, by when you're looking at those parlays, putting those bitches together, and thinking about what you can get, you're not really doing the right thing. So I guess, let me read my notes. These are my bets. So, okay, these are the notes. I made these notes on September 13th, so this was the Friday before the game on Sunday. At Green Bay, there's going to be good weather. Jordan Love hurt. Colts seem to be facing a better defense than the Packers and the Texans we faced week 1. For some reason, I like Malik Willis anytime touchdown score because I knew he was going to run the ball, and I didn't. And I thought he could maybe get that. That was one of the ones that I thought high value, something that could happen. That was a risk bet for me. And I think he had an opportunity to get it. He had a really, let me see, his longest rush yard was 19 yards where he was right by the touchdown. He could have got it. That was something that I thought was going to happen, but it was high value, right? First quarter spread for the Colts, 1.5 for points was plus money. I did not bet that. Glad I didn't. The Colts obviously were fucking ass from the first quarter on. So Anthony Richardson under 16.5 completions. I thought Anthony Richardson wasn't going to have the best game. He had 17, which is interesting. Just over. It's the same thing also with his attempts. His attempts was 29. He had 34. At the end of the game, he was kind of throwing the ball because we were down. We were trying to come back. I didn't bet those either, which is me, again, not following my notes, but I should have known that. Now, let's look at the next notes. JT actually didn't have the best game in game 1. 16 attempts for 48 yards, averaged just 3 yards per attempt. Packers are a a low-ranked rush defense, and we have JT and Anthony Richardson. Do I like him doubling basically and getting 80 yards? Kind of, honestly. That's exactly what I wrote. He did do that, and he got 103 yards. So I put that in a parlay. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor over 80.5 rushing yards. Michael Pittman over 5.5 receptions. He got the ball thrown to him 7 times, which he also did in week 1. He caught the ball 3 times only in week 1. And then in week 2, he only catches the ball 3 times. And in week 2 or week 1, it was like 3 or 4. He didn't get the over 5.5. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with Michael Pittman this year. Maybe I need to watch more film or figure out something with that. But he can't get over 5 catches. Something's fucked up with that. And maybe it's the connection between him and JT isn't right, or maybe it's the fact that I'm betting on it, and the next time that I don't bet on this on week 3, they're going to get a fucking 100 yards. I don't know what's going to happen, but that shit's crazy to me. And then let's see what else I put down. All right, or let's just keep reading my notes. So Colts defenses, I had them all, and I put that through there. Keep in mind, week 1, Packers faced a dual-threat QB with a good running back, and they tried to contain the QB, so the running back went off. That's what I literally put in my notes. Keep in mind, week 1, Packers faced a dual-threat QB with a good running back, and they tried to contain the QB, so the running back went off. This game with the Colts has the same thing. The Colts have the same thing, where they try to contain the QB, and then, well, JT, oh, wait. And that's what that's what the defense was doing to the, and JT did go crazy, so I guess that's right. The Packers have a good receiving core. I should have given more, I should have bet on I should have bet on Josh Jacobs' yards. I should have bet on Josh Jacobs to have a better game. That was dumb of me. I also bet Malik Willis over 4.5 first quarter rushing yards, again with him having those rushing yards, and Christian Watson getting over 2.5 receptions, because I thought Malik Willis could throw it some, which he did, but I also thought that he would get the ball more, which he didn't. Let me see. He's not even on the receiving. Yeah, he didn't. Apparently, he didn't get the ball thrown to him even once. I could have swore at least he did once, but I guess fucking not. Then I had Jonathan Taylor over 8.5 yards and Michael Pittman over 5.5 receptions. Now I already have some week 3 early bets. Let's put them in. The Colts and Anthony Richardson, like Alec Pierce. And he got a touchdown week 2 and week 1. Be steady and bet for him to get it week 3 ? I'm gonna do that. I'm betting on that just to have, because 2 weeks in a row I'm gonna go for the 3 weeks. But also that Michael Pittman breakout game has to come, right? Yeah, I'm betting. So I'm already feeling for week 3. And who do we have week 3? And are we at home? We're at home against the Bears. I'm already feeling an Alec Pierce touchdown. And let's go. Let's look at the defenses. Let's see. Defenses ranked week 3. So we have, I like Foxes. Fox. Not fantasy, nigga. And all right, so and let's look at this. So Michael Pittman needs that breakout game. Alec Pierce is who he's been liking. Touchdown. And let me see. Do I even want to go to his yards though? Let's see. Schedule. Let's just see what the yards. I mean, bro, we just look so bad. Where's his preseason? Regular season. Okay. Roster. Nigga. And I'm just looking. 5 catches for 56 yards. His isn't going to be 5.5. I won't bet his yards, but his TD probably won't bet his yards because it would be too high, but I would bet him for a TD maybe. All right, and then let's look at the Bears' defenses. So we're going 8th total defense. Okay. 11th passing defense. So top 15 passing defense. Let's see. Top 13 rushing defense. I guess they're a bad scoring defense. Maybe that does something for us. Where are they? Oh, shit. They're the 6th ranked scoring defense. And red zone defense. Yep, red zone defense. Let's see. Okay. 19th. They're the 19th ranked rushing defense. So, I mean, red zone defense. So, if we're going to have something, maybe in the red zone, we can fucking score. Yeah, we're going against a pretty good defense. And it looked like Anthony Richardson is going to go up and down. We're at home. He's going to be the worst on the road. So we're at home. He's going to be the most comfortable that he is. Their defense, the defense that we're facing this week is better than the defense that we faced last week in the Packers. Let me go back to what the Packers are ranked with everything this week. Hold on. Total defense, the Bears are 8th. Packers are, let's see. Okay, 27. So we're going against a way better defense, and we looked bad. The only thing that I can say is that Anthony Richardson is going to look better at home. Hopefully the receivers are going to catch more balls when it seems like when he's in rhythm. And maybe, hopefully, the defense is going to be bad at the rush anyways. We're going against a rookie quarterback. Caleb Williams doesn't look like he's been in rhythm with his receivers, but he also looks like he's getting better, and he looks like he's going to want to have a good game. I mean, for the Texans to win that game, C.J. Stroud had to be an absolute dog. Let me look at the spread for this game. I mean, if we're we may not even be. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not favored by a field goal. If we're favored by 2.5. Colts versus Bears, Week 3 spread. Colts are favored by 1.5. That doesn't surprise me at all. We may fucking lose. Fuck. We may give Caleb Williams. This may be a Caleb. This could be because everyone's the same way that I'm thinking Michael Pittman's going to have his breakout game because he's our wide receiver 1. Everybody's expecting Caleb Williams to have his breakout game. I mean, quick rundown of the Bears. Obviously their O-line fucking sucks. They don't have, Caleb Williams and the receivers don't seem to have a good fucking match together. I don't think the Bears, let me see. I don't think the Bears necessarily have their wide receiver is that. I mean, their running back core is that good. Let's look at what they had. Ran the ball 22 times, 71 yards, 5 for 14, 44. That's week 1. Let's go to week 2. Or that's week 2. Let's go to week 1. Let's go back. Week 1 against the Titans, they had a dub. And let's go back. Let's see. 22. Yeah, they don't really have a good. What the fuck? Oh, they don't really have a good run game. Oh, my shit died. They don't really have a good run game. I mean, 1.5 is about right. We could win or lose this game. Yeah, we could definitely win or lose this game. All right. Now, we went through receiver talk. We went through betting. We went through next week. I'm going to say this is going to be a close game. I'm not going to bet yet. I'm not going to say who I'm going to win yet. I'm going to do some more research. I can't even feel confident saying who I think is going to win yet. I can't even feel confident. Now, I'm going to do a quick Steelers rundown, and then we're going to call it episode 1. And I'm going to have to stream again. Because that was an hour of just talking about the Colts. Let me see. Box score. Let's get into the Steelers. I want to give the Steelers their due diligence. I may start streaming every day, bro. I may really fucking have to. Yeah. We're going to move on. We're going to call this an episode 1. Episode 1 was strictly Colts talk. There will be Steelers. We're going to talk about the Steelers. What's Thursday? I think Thursday we're going to dedicate to the Steelers. Garrett's football show will just be a Steelers episode, and I'll just do research on them. All right, that's episode 1 of season 3 of Garrett's football show. Like everything, if you watch for a second, an hour, a minute, thank you. I appreciate you. And that is a wrap. Peace.